Alright, so Captain Picard, or Star Trek Picard rather, uh, came to an end in Et in Arcadia Ego, Part 2. Uh, well, okay, some things, there were rumors that Rios would be revealed to be a hologram entity himself. That didn't happen. Um, the big battle that you would have thought would happen never really did. They did some trickery that Picard did from the Stargazer. They did it here and all that. Let's see what else. There was no Q continuum involvement in here. A whole lot of nothing happened. Apparently, Incestress, the creepy sister of Narek, stowed away on the Borg cube. I'm guessing that's how she just shows up, so 7M9 can kill her. So she's dead, and good riddance. And not before she had a little intimate goodbye to her brother. Well, okay, not that intimate. They just hugged, but so Narek turns around and actually becomes the hero of the story for a while as he goes to Rios' ship, and Rios and Raffi figure out how to repower the ship with a magic wand. Yes, and it's repowered. Even though it's got its power back, they decide to camp outside with a campfire and talk about things. So Narek comes up with a plan about how they can infiltrate the android's little complex there, and they do by pretending to hand over Narek, and then they get in a big fight. But then to stop the beacon that's going to send out the signal to this other the technological race of androids or what have you, and they'll come and wipe out the organic peoples, and the galaxy will be nothing but androids or what have you. So they try to foil it, but it doesn't work, and Soji's able to activate it anyway, and then a big giant portal opens up in the sky, and it's all red and dark and spooky, and then the Romulans show up to save the day. But no, their answer is to just sterilize the planet so everybody would get killed. So they had to stop that. So that's when Picard, meanwhile, the Rios and Raffi and Narek, and Elfnor's there, but he's mostly there to cry. They don't rescue Picard. Agnes rescues Picard. She, I don't know. She just goes in and gets him, and they get back to Rios' ship, not realizing that Rios and crew are there attacking whatever. So they get to the ship, they take it, and they go to do the little Stargazer trick on the Romulans, but it doesn't really work. And then lo and behold, the Federation shows up, and apparently it's like Bad Robot, so Secret Hideout, this deal of having massive amounts of starships in the sky. The Romulans had all their warbirds, and then the Federation shows up with just about every ship in the fleet, apparently. And lo and behold, Riker has come out of retirement and is the head captain of this fleet, and tells them that the android planet is now under the protection of the Federation, blah, blah, blah. And, the Romulan infiltrator, who is actually General O, I guess, instead of Commodore O, whatever. Anyway, she decides, keep fighting, we'll fight the Federation and all that. And then Picard manages to get a message over to Soji and tell her to turn off the beacon and show the Romulans and the Federation that you mean them no harm. And so she does. The portal had these mechanical Dr. Octopus tentacles coming out like some sort of mechanized Lovecraftian creature, another thing they steal from. But, it's whatever. But the thing of it is, so she shuts off the thing and it closes up, and that's that. There's no invasion from these, artificial species, whatever. but they know the coordinates of where this is. Their highly advanced automated artificial life form type entity. Why do they need the they could find their way there, so the threat is not over. Maybe that'll be continued in the next season, I guess, but yeah. So then Picard collapses and dies. So his consciousness somehow travels to Data's consciousness, which has been stored there, and so they can have an afterlife little meeting. And then Data tells Picard to go back to life because the android body that they showed in the previous episode, that was to receive consciousness, and I thought Dr. Soong was intending that for himself, but instead, of course, they put Picard in it, and they make the body of the android look exactly as he does. And they even included in it that it will only live as long as he would have lived had he not had the brain abnormality. So they can keep him around for next season. So that's another rumor, was that he would die at the end, and then the cast would rename their ship the Picard, and that would be the meaning of the series going forward. But apparently no, Patrick Stewart will be returning for a second season of Picard, provided they can keep this afloat for another one. And that's about it. It just sort of fizzles and ends like that. And Data's mind is shut down because he wanted to die. He didn't want to go on existing as just this simulation. So you can't blame him, huh? No. So, jeez, it just wasn't all that great. You know, Picard's death scene kind of reminded me of a Doctor Who regeneration scene, and that's pretty much what it was, except he doesn't get it like a new body. Maybe, you know, I kind of thought maybe they would have cast someone else, and they would just been, and they would say it's Picard, you know, but then nah, that wouldn't be too great. So it's really stupid how they explain that. But and the other rumor that he would link up with the Borg again, and that could be a means by which that would have been a better one, that he would remain with this Borg implement that keeps his brain going, and that he had to use the cube to defend the android planet and all that, but that didn't happen. Yeah, because, you know, they're stupid. But by then it wouldn't have mattered because the show was crap to begin with. It had only enough material for one episode, but they had to drag it out over 10 episodes, while Michael Chabon goes on about episodic television is crap and no good and all that sort of thing, trying to defend this. Well, if you're going to have this this 10 episode arc, you've got to have the material for it, and you didn't, because there's an awful lot of people discussing their feelings and life and stuff, and then this happens and then nothing. As for Narek, I don't know, I can't even remember what became of him. Is he going to be, he wasn't on the ship, so I don't know. Maybe he and Soji will reconnect, you know. I mean, his sister's dead, so that's over with. So, yeah, maybe he'll just be a sort of nefarious character, but not quite the villain for the upcoming season. Meanwhile, 7 of 9's a lesbian now. That just, you know, people just all of a sudden change orientations for no apparent reason. I don't know what happened to Chakotay. They don't explain anything about that. Because they were going to get married at the end of Voyager or something like that. I can't even remember. Wasn't a big fan of Chakotay. He was pretty much a cardboard character, really. But now she's a lesbian. Well, she murdered her last girlfriend, and there's even a flirtation with Incestress there. So anyway, and then there's a scene of her and Raffi holding hands. So now Raffi's a lesbian too. She had a son and everything, but there was nothing indicating that, and then all of a sudden there's that. So I guess they're a couple now, and that'll be for the next season. I guess 7 of 9 will actually be a part of the crew, and maybe they'll actually give her something to do instead of just all of a sudden showing up here and there and killing somebody, and then yay, isn't she badass, and that's it. So I don't know, because in all likelihood I'm not watching the next season. Gee, it's not like it was it's still, but I was going to say it's better than Star Trek Discovery, but that's not saying anything, and it's only a little bit better. It's just a lackluster show that didn't have much of anything, and then the whole thing about the Federation has gone dark and is terrible and it's okay. They lifted the ban on the androids and all that, and there's nothing to that. And it's okay to be to consider all Romulans bad. I don't know about Picard's house staff, and they never really explained the Romulans are refugees in the Federation, but they had their own fleet of warbirds, and they were going to destroy this planet. I mean, they don't explain any of that. Just really stupid. So there's still the Star Empire, right? That still exists. They just don't have the home world of Romulus. I don't know. It was cool to see Riker in uniform again. So Star Trek Riker, why not do that? No, this writing staff can't write a Star Trek series. So even though there's rumors of a Star Trek Pike one, and that sounds like something that could actually save this garbage, but you know better, don't you? They don't know how to write those shows, and that's too bad. So, oh well. Sign up for Hulu so you can watch Orville. That's pretty much all you're going to get. And it's not bad. It's a good show. So, there you go. But as it stands, Star Trek is just not really there. It's just a soulless shell. Doesn't even have the consciousness of Star Trek transferred to it. Oh, well. Anyway, there you go. That's the wrap on Star Trek Picard. Thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you, and a link to Indie Planet for my Night comic book. Now, as we are under the lockdown because of the outbreak, it's difficult for companies like indieplanet.com to fulfill the print orders. They have a message on the site that they will get to it eventually if that's what you so desire. Most notably, print orders for trade paperbacks they're having difficulty with because the company that did the print work for them their employees are in lockdown. They can't do anything, which is pretty bad. But I guess the regular comic books could. Now, of course, the digital version, that's 99 cents, you can get that, and because that's fully automated, so you just go in, you get it. So you can still get a copy there for all the comics they have at that site. So I'll just, tell you about that if you so desire to get yourself some Night until this is cleared up. We can get back to business, and hopefully that will be soon. Anyway, so yeah, you can also catch the Mr. Nailsin Show podcast over at RadioMisfits.com, and of course you can watch my videos over at BitChute.